Good afternoon, guys. I'm here today to answer a question that we had from one of Arch's fans during stream the other day. It was, quote, "What was the worst thing that you've done to your D&D group? The absolute worst thing." I was also asked to do the player side of that story. In fact, I don't think Brother ever answered the DM side of the story. So we're going to talk about that today. Consensus came back very, very mixed. Everyone was kind of like, what do you mean the worst thing that's happened to us in the D&D campaign? He hasn't really done anything horrible to us. Or we got one character who was like, well, I thought I was going to have to re-roll because my character got sent to jail and was going to be beheaded. And we got several that said, in fact, that's the one thing that everyone can kind of agree on, the spatial temple. Now, I can't speak for any of the other players, and my character didn't actually really go through the spatial temple, but I did a mock through with Brother, and oh my God, was it, for me, the player, just mind-wrenchingly awful. Amazing, but awful. And so you have to bear in mind, this did not actually happen, but I'm going to tell you about my experience with the spatial temple. I play a character who is an Ulthoi. For those of you who aren't entirely familiar with it, that is a bug race of awesome. And yeah, she speaks Skittish, which I will never be able to emulate, so don't even ask me to. In fact, I don't think anyone is humanly possible of voice acting that. You'd need machines to help. So my character, I'm going to call her Kezrin. Her full name is Kezrintha of Worker. But Kezrin went into the temple, and she found herself in an alien setting which felt entirely real. And she was given orders to decimate an enemy camp. Leave none alive, no survivors, nothing. Basically destroy it all. And that, for my character, was something that was extremely traumatic. My character is a major pacifist, to the point that her race is not capable of having ill will or, rage or hatred or anything like that. They are all pacifists. They are all good, the epitome of good. They literally cannot be evil. They cannot even be bad. They cannot even be jerks. They're just really, really, really nice people. And as he's describing these orders to me, he tells me, I have this siren song, that's how he described it, playing in my head that's basically forcing me to do it. So I have these two warring aspects going on in my head that I have no control over. I have the side of me that says, I don't want to hurt these people. I don't want to do this. And then there's the side that says, do it. Just do it. Kill them. It's easy. You could decimate them without even breaking a sweat. In fact, I don't know if Ulthoi are capable of sweating, but you get the point. And so I have this almost like, when you look at the cartoons and you have the little angel that pops up on one shoulder and the little devil that pops up on the other shoulder. And they're sitting there warring with each other, and the player is just torn to pieces. Only 50 million times more intense, because I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist that voice that was telling me, just do it. It's easy. Just kill them. Just die. Just let them die. So I did. my character went through and murdered people, decimated all of the military forces in this base. It was a military base that I was destroying, obviously. Until I got to the very last one, and he was like, look, the people from this point on aren't military. They aren't combatants. They don't have weapons. They're women, they're children, they're elderly, they're sick. Just let them get away. Just let them go. Please, just let them go. And that's what he's telling me as he is so fatally wounded that, you know, he doesn't have any time left. He's not begging for his life. He's not whimpering in pain. He's not throwing the, "We'll get you back for this, you bastard." You know, he's not doing that. He's not doing the stuff that you see in animations. No, he's doing what someone who is utterly defeated and knows that they're utterly defeated is doing. He's begging for the life of someone else, for the innocent. And to tell you how much this got to me when I was going through with it, and I haven't even told Brother this, I'm tearing up right now. I was crying in the midst of it because in my head I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, you know, the player's thinking, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go through with this. But at the same time, my character lacks the ability, the will to overcome this siren song. She's literally physically incapable of doing what she wants to do, which is to just turn her back. To just turn her back and pretend like they never existed. And my character is a walking death machine. She's literally a walking death machine. To the point that she went into a fully weaponized, fully alert base. There was no sneak attack. She just busted in. And with her bare hands and claws, decimated the entire military populace. That's how much of a walking freaking tank she is. Without a scratch on her. And she doesn't want to. I don't want to. But she has to. She can't not do it. And so I went in, and there are 2 shuttles that are lifting off. And the first one I jump on. Literally, I'm that fast. I am from halfway, you know, couple of football field lengths away from it, and I just am there. They don't even have time to react. No time to do anything, and I literally split the thing in half. Oh, wait, no, that was the second one. The first one, I went through and massacred woman after elderly, after child, and in the most brutal way possible. I wish I had the archives pulled up, because there is one section that I would have liked to have read my role-playing of it back to you. My brother and I were doing it via chat. We weren't actually speaking with one another when we were doing the role-playing. But she gets done massacring, and the very last life she encounters on the first shuttle is a child. And she's not torturing them. She doesn't like this, but she is killing them. And so here is this child who is whimpering and cowering and so afraid he can't move. and she kills him. She's unable to not kill him. And the whole time she's screaming in pain and agony because she doesn't want to do it and she can't overcome it. And then the shuttle behind her ignites its boosters or something. It makes some noise that she wouldn't not be able to hear. I was sitting here hoping and praying that they would just sit there and have all the people on there quiet and not moving and nothing. Because if they were, she would leave. She would leave because she wasn't mentally capable of recognizing life forms at this point. She was so torn up, unless they did something to force her to see them. And they activated their boosters. And by this point, Brother and I were both upset. And he's like, I'm not even going to let you role play this. I'm just going to tell you what happened. And he goes, you launched yourself. Like I said, I'm a period of about 4 football fields away from the other aircraft. And I launched myself at the aircraft and literally, or the shuttle, and literally ripped the thing in two. I sliced it straight down the middle. And this whole thing is just horrible. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, no, I didn't want to. I don't want to. She doesn't want to. Why couldn't you have just sat there and been quiet little people and been afraid, so afraid that you just cowered until I left? Because then you could have lived. You could have lived, but you had to die for no other reason than you were trying to live. And then it's over and I'm back on the shuttle. My shuttle, my ship. And there is someone there, the person who gives me my orders. And he looks at me and he goes, why didn't you let them go? They were civilians. They didn't matter. And I about lost it. I had this moment where I was just like, why? Why didn't I? Why couldn't I? And the honest, simple truth of the matter was, she just didn't have a choice. And she's sitting here the whole time and she's screaming to herself, why? Why couldn't I just let them go? And he's like, you could have bypassed them. They weren't combatants. They didn't matter. And she's like, in a completely deadpan voice, as her mind is reeling with why, her response is, leave none alive. Deadpan. Leave none alive. Broken, completely devoid of feeling. Shutdown mode, as I call it. Leave none alive. And that word, that phrase just kept coming back to haunt her over and over and over again, because those were her orders. Those were the things she couldn't resist. And finally, it ended because she had a breakdown. Brother told me that any of my race who went through that temple run would have encountered that same scenario, and that because it was so traumatic for the race, there were members of the order who, any time an Ulthoi came to do the Spacial temple trial, they mercilessly erased the memory, because if they didn't, the Ulthoi would be so mentally traumatized that they couldn't continue life. That would literally literally make them incapable of function. Now, I don't know what the other members of the group went through when they went through. I don't know if they went through anything like what I went through. In fact, I am 99.999999% positive that they didn't. But like I said, several of the other members have said that that was the most traumatic thing that they can think of that they've gone through. And so, yeah. If the other members want to share what they went through, they are welcome to send me a PM in game, and I will be happy to share that with you guys. So, we're going to get off here, because the daughter is happily playing over there, and I'd like to play with her, so, pachoo.